guys, welcome back to Dans'Atout's YouTube channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to get this gold smoky eye, which is perfect for dance competitions or dance shows. So to start off my eyes today, I'm going to start by doing my eyebrows. We need to keep in mind that everybody has very different eyebrows, different colors, different shapes. So you want to make sure that you attend to your eyebrows the way that you should. I'm going to show you how I do mine. I naturally have pretty full eyebrows, so all I really do is I take a eyebrow pencil. This one is from NYX. It's in the shade Taupe, and it's just like a thin eyebrow pencil. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the spoolie on this side. The spoolie is just an eyebrow brush, and I'm gonna brush up my eyebrow hairs. On the other side, there's the pencil. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fill in the sparse areas in my eyebrows, just not to make them too intense. We wanna remember that because we're on stage and the lights will wash us out, we need to have our eyebrows filled in because they need to show on stage. So you wanna fill them in a lot, but not too much. There's a fine line between the two. So I'm gonna go ahead and start at the front of my eyebrow, and I'm just going to be making hair-like strokes throughout them so that it looks still pretty natural, but that you can see them when you're on stage. Like I said, my eyebrows are already pretty full, so I'm not gonna actually draw in a shape. I'm just gonna follow the natural shape of them and add to where I find that there's missing some hairs. It's important to get an eyebrow shade that is a little bit darker than your hair, just because you want them to show when you're on stage. If my hair is blonde, so if I were to get a really blonde eyebrow pencil, you wouldn't really see them. Whereas I got one that's a little bit of a light brown, so that they really do stand out when I'm on stage. After I feel like they're filled in enough, I'm gonna go back in with the spoolie and I'm just gonna brush through just to make them look a little bit more natural and not so filled in with makeup. In order to set those brows in place and make sure that they don't move throughout the whole competition day, I'm gonna take the Anastasia Beverly Hills one, and it's the clear brow gel. What this does is it just kind of sets your eyebrows in place. You can brush them upwards and they just won't fly everywhere, they won't move. They'll just kind of stay where you set them. So I find that very important for when you're on stage and you have those long dance days so that they stay put. So now we're gonna move on to the eyeshadow, the fun part. It's really important when you're looking for an eyeshadow palette for competition or for dance show that you invest in a good palette. You wanna make sure that your palette has matte shades and shimmer shades, because you can't do an all shimmer shade look. You can do an all matte look, but for competition you wanna add some shimmer in your look. And you wanna make sure that you have several different brushes that you can do different things with. So for example, I have this brush here. This one is a fluffy blending brush, and this will be used to blend all the colors together and make sure that everything looks seamless. I also have a smaller version of that just to get a little bit more precise. I like to use this little brush here. It's just a little bit of a rounded brush for the outer corner to deepen that up a little bit. I have this brush here, it's like a little flat brush, and this one I use for my shimmer shades. So you wanna have a variety of brushes when you're going into competition or dance show weekends, because if you're just using one or two brushes, you're not gonna be able to attain a smoky look. So we're gonna be doing a brown smoky eye today. We need to keep in mind that a smoky eye is not just black eyeshadow. A smoky eye can be brown, a smoky eye can be colorful, a smoky eye can be black, but a smoky eye just means that the colors are blown out and that they're intense. So for this makeup look, we're gonna be doing a brown smoky eye. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be taking an eye base. So this is a primer from MAC, and it's a paint pot in the shade Painterly. So I'm just gonna be grabbing a little bit of this on a little brush like this, and I'm gonna be applying this on my eyelid. And now this I use as a base for my eyeshadow because it really makes it stay. So you want to have a primer, just like you have a primer for your skin, you wanna have a primer for your eyes to make sure that the eyeshadow is, one, as pigmented as it could be, and two, that it lasts all day throughout those long weekends and those long days. So I like to just kind of push this in with a brush and make sure that there are no harsh lines. I might go in with my beauty sponge again just to make sure that everything is blended. And I'm gonna do that on both eyes. You want to be careful not to get this in your eyebrows that you just did because it does have some pigment in it. So you want to be careful around the eyebrow area to make sure that you don't cover up all the work that you just did on your brows. Okay, so we're gonna start with our eye makeup look. So I am using the James Charles Morphe palette here. This one is amazing for competition. It's a little bit on the pricier side. It's about $50, but it's really worth it. You get a whole bunch of shades here. You have everything from mattes to shimmers to bronze colors to blacks to color to like bright, vibrant colors. And this is a super versatile palette for any competition look that you're going for, any dance show look that you're going for. It has everything that can match your costumes. That's why I really recommend investing in something like this, because you'll just need this one palette and this is what you'll take with you everywhere you go. So I'm gonna be starting off with this shade right here. It's kind of like this orangey, like burnt orangey shade right in the center. And I'm gonna be taking it on a fluffy blending brush. So I'm just gonna be taking some from the palette, tap off the excess, and I'm gonna be applying that in my crease. This will be my transition shade. So that means that all the colors that I'm gonna apply after this one are gonna blend into this one to make it a very smoky and seamless look. So I'm gonna find where my crease is. So to find your crease, you wanna find where your bone is. So right here, I have my bone. Some people will be lower, some people's will be higher, some people might not even have one that's super prominent that you can feel. You just kind of want to put your transition shade where you want that color to, that eye look to start. Okay, so I found my crease where my bone is. So I'm going to take that shadow and I'm going to start applying it on my eye in windshield wiper motion. So just back and forth. You don't want to apply too much all at once. And if you do, that's totally okay as well if you made a mistake, but you just want to keep going and back in with your blending brush and blending it back and forth, back and forth. Blending is super key in smoky looks. So I'm bringing it in. So once that color is all blended and you're happy with the way it looks, what you can do is you can go in with a shade that's a little bit deeper than that one. So I just went in with this orange shade here. I'm gonna pick up the shade right next to it here on a smaller blending brush, one that's a little bit more precise. I'm gonna take some of that on my brush and I'm gonna apply it right under that transition shade. So we applied the transition shade on the crease. We're gonna apply this one a little bit lower than the crease. So I'm gonna go in with this one and I'm just gonna apply a little bit to create more depth in my eye. So same motions here. You want to go windshield wiper motions, back and forth, and just keep going until you're perfectly happy with the way it's blended. Now that both shadows are on, I'm going to go back in with that first blending brush and I'm going to blend it outwards a little bit. Because it's smoky, we want to have it blown out. So I'm going to take my brush with no new product and I'm just gonna blend it outwards. Be careful not to go too far unless that's the look you're going for. I'm just gonna pick up that same shade again that we just used and apply a little bit more. Less is more with shadow. You don't wanna put too much color in one area and then be stuck with it there. You wanna pick up a little bit at a time and just keep blending. Once you're happy with the way it looks, you're gonna pick up a small little rounded brush and I'm gonna pick up this dark brown shadow right here. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit on my brush, tap off the excess, and I'm gonna apply this as my outer corner color. Now this dark brown is gonna really tie in the look together. So in the outer third of my eye right over here, I'm gonna apply this dark brown. So a little bit at a time, you're just gonna go in circular motions. Pick up as you need. And you're just gonna pack that shadow on the outer corner of your eye. Once it's there, you're gonna start blowing it out. So I'm gonna start taking the tip of my brush and just kind of flicking it outwards to make it more smoky. Going back in with that first blending brush, I'm gonna blend all three colors together to make sure that there are no harsh lines. Once I'm happy with the way that looks, I'm gonna pick up a shimmer shade. So this is gonna go on the rest of my lid. I'm gonna pick up this shade right here. It's a really pretty gold. And you can either pick it up on a brush, but I really like to use my finger for shimmer shades because it really makes the pigment stick. So I'm going to put my finger into the shadow. I have some on my finger right here. I like to use my ring finger because it's the finger that applies the least amount of pressure and you don't want to rub onto your eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ring finger and I'm slowly going to start applying the shadow onto my lid. And you want to do this very carefully because you don't want to put the shimmer shade on top of the other colors that we just applied. So you just really want to apply it on the empty space. I'm gonna go back in with the brush that we used for the dark brown shade on our outer corner, and I'm just going to start blending the two together so that there's not just one harsh line in the middle of my eye. They look like they should mesh properly. Taking that first blending brush and blending all these colors together properly, not touching the shimmer shade. So, we're gonna move on to the lower lash line. It's really important that in a smoky eye, especially for dance, that you wanna apply the same shadows that you applied on the top of your eye to the bottom of your eye to give it that smoky effect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this brush right here. This one's kind of like a flat, thin brush that's very compact. I'm gonna take that dark brown shade that we used on the outer corner of our lid, and I'm gonna apply that right on my waterline, super, super close to my waterline. This is like, kind of like you're applying like eyeliner, but it's just shadow. So you want to apply it as close as possible to your lash line. And at first it's going to look pretty stark and harsh, but we're going to blend it out with other colors soon. So I'm connecting it to that top part of my eyelid so it looks like one look together. Once you're happy with that, you're going to take a smaller brush. This one's a little bit of a rounded brush and it's pretty fluffy. And I'm gonna go in with that first shade that we used, that orangey shade. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply this on the rest of my lower lash line, and I'm gonna blend that dark brown in with this color. We're essentially mimicking the same thing that we did at the top of our eye on the bottom. Now for the scariest part for most of you, applying eyeliner. So I'm going to be doing a winged eyeliner. I am using this eyeliner by Kat Von D. It's the Tattoo Liner in the shade Trooper Black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a thin line on the top of my lashes, and then I'm going to wing it out. So I'm just going to give it a good shake. I'm going to start at the inner corner of my eye and just apply it as close as possible to my lashes, because we want to make it thin before we make it thicker, so that way we can work our way up. Once I'm happy with the line at the top, I'm going to go ahead and create my wing. So from the corner of my eye, I'm going to create a straight line up and then connect it to what I already made with my eyeliner. Once you're done with your eyeliner, I'm gonna go ahead and apply some mascara. So this one is the L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara. This is my favorite mascara, and it's not super expensive either, which is great. So I'm going to be applying quite a bit of mascara. Sometimes it might happen that you get a little bit of mascara on your eyelid where you put your eyeshadow. Don't worry, your makeup look is not ruined. What you're gonna do is you're gonna let it dry. And once it's dry, you're gonna go in with that spoolie that we used for our eyebrows, and you're gonna just go ahead and scratch it off with this. It comes right off. So I had a little bit at the top, and I'm just going to scratch it off, and it didn't affect my eyeshadow at all. I'm gonna go ahead and put some mascara on my bottom lashes as well. So I'm just gonna look up. For the last step in our eye look, I'm going to be adding some highlights. So I'm gonna be taking the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm gonna be taking this first shade right here at the top. With a small little brush, I'm gonna pick some up, tap off the excess, and I'm gonna be putting this on the inner corner of my eye. So this is just gonna brighten up the whole eye look all together and make it look super pretty. And this will be a really pretty touch while you're on stage with all the lights. This is really gonna shine. With another brush, this was kind of like an angled brush, I'm gonna apply the same shade right under my eyebrow for a highlight on the brow bone. I like to keep this pretty high, and I don't like to drag it all the way down following my brow because it'll kind of bring my eye downwards. I want to keep everything lifted, so I'm just applying it right under the center of my eyebrow. At this point, you can go in and you can fix anything that you might not be happy with. So I might add maybe just a little bit up here, blend in a little bit, maybe add a bit more gold. You can end your look here, or you can also apply lashes if you'd like. We're gonna have a future episode about how to apply lashes, so be sure to stay tuned for that. I'm gonna go ahead and complete my other eye off camera, and I'll be right back. So this is the final eye look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope that you guys try it at home. All the products that I use are gonna be linked down in the description box. Please check them out. If you have any questions, leave a comment for us. We'll be sure to answer it. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye.